Hi, my name is Leora Wolff, and this photo is brought to you by TorahExchange.com. In Parashat Haazinu, it's written as a shira in a different structure than the typical way the parashiyos are written in the Torah. And this structure differs from other shiras in the Torah as well. And if Haazinu is not written in this structure, it actually renders the Torah puzzle. So, what is it about this structure that is so significant that it's necessary in order to have a kosher Torah? So there's a Gemara in Megillah on Daf Yud Chet that talks about Haman's sons and the structure that they're written in the Megillah as two columns, and how that differs from the typical poetic structure when the text isn't written in the typical format. If it's written in a different structure, it's usually a staggering of words that looks brick-like. Rashi actually explains that it looks literally like bricks, and that staggering is not what's seen with regards to Haman's sons. Haman's sons are written in two narrow columns, and the Ran explains on this Gemara in Megillah that Haazinu is also written in that same structure of two narrow columns because it represents the rise and fall of civilization, the weakness, frailty of humankind, and its susceptibility to failure and to falling. And Haman's sons are a prime example of that, the rise to power and the fall. And this is actually a theme that we see very much in this time of year. We just finished Rosh Hashanah, Yom Hadzin, and we're approaching Yom Kippur. We're in the middle of the Aseret Simei Tshuva, and we are focusing now on our human frailty. And we say at the end of Unifan Tokef, Adam Yisodo Me'afar Usofo La'afar, that we come from dust and we return to dust. And then we go through a list of things that man is likened to: a shard of glass, a wilted flower, a blade of grass, a cloud, a gust of wind, all these things that are so ephemeral, they're so fleeting. And this concept of frailty is actually something that comes up a lot in Koheles, which is what we'll be reading on Sukkot. So we're again continuing with that theme of frailty, of nothingness, the fleetingness of our existence. And the Ramban in his Drasha on Koheles explains that Shlomo HaMelech talks about the concept of Hebel, about he charts his entire life, everything that he's explored, friends and family and parties and working and every aspect of life he completely immersed himself in, and he found Hebel time and time again. And the Ramban explains that the concept of Hebel is like when you bang two sticks together and you see a spark, or when you blow air in the wintertime and it doesn't take form. You see it as like a cloud of smoke and then it dissipates. And it doesn't, it's not sustainable. And that's the concept of Hebel, and everything in this world is essentially not lasting. But what the Ramban explains is that if you take two sticks and bang them together over cotton or flax, it'll actually catch fire. And so too in this world, whatever we do, if we put the right things into it, if we invest the right value, so to speak, then that too will take form, will take shape, and will be able to last. And that is the concept of Emunah, and that's what Koheles ends off with. Sof Tavar Hakol Nishma, Es Elokim Yirav, Es Mitzvosav Shamar, Ki Zeh Kol Ha'adam. That at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is serving Hashem, following His mitzvahs, because that makes everything, that makes every aspect of this world worthwhile and lasting. And we see that in the structure of Az Yashir, which is a shir about Hashem and his godless, and essentially our emunah in Hashem, that it's structured like a wall, which is eternal, which is something that can withstand the test of time, as opposed to two large, narrow towers, that are susceptible to falling and are not sustainable. So what we can learn from the importance of the structure of Haazinu is that civilization, humankind, is so frail, and the only thing that enables us to live meaningful, fulfilling, and sustainable lives is having emunah and focusing our lives on the Torah and mitzvos. And I hope that everyone has a meaningful Yom Kippur, a Gemar Tova, and an amazing Shabbos.